Hi guys, this is Momofthreepossible. I am going to do the long-awaited video for you guys. It is Cabbage Banku and Cabbage Fufu today. My other video, which is my cauliflower fufu video, if you didn't see that, please watch that. If you've been liking my videos, please subscribe, give me a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, ask me questions. I love those. Today, for my Cabbage Banku, I will be using a binder called Psyllium Fiber, and for my Cabbage Fufu, I will be using a binder called Xanthan Gum. The Xanthan Gum makes the cabbage very soft and gives you a softer consistency for the fufu, whereas the Psyllium Fiber and the cabbage will give you a more harder banku consistency. And together with my Psyllium Fiber, I will use a little bit of apple cider vinegar in my banku to give it that fermented taste for you. Our lifestyles have changed, and so should our way of eating. When I did the cauliflower fufu video, call it anything you want, honey. You don't have to call it fufu, but I call it cauliflower fufu, and I will be calling this cabbage fufu or cabbage banku. It doesn't have to be the same old things from back in the day. Times are changing, and so should we. Don't go anywhere, stay tuned.
Make sure send me see Adriani. Cabbage banku. Kama. Adriani are calories in him, and I can't say calories. Adriani are calories in him. Yediani say yedi. Because you can say, Radimedasi, Adriani a day. China mean show send me see and what it. Mempo baby, so that piano say kama.
So let's go right ahead. First, I am going to chop up my cabbage really quickly. Hey, chop body. Only make one. So just chop it as finely as you can so that it is easy. So I am going to use a whole head of cabbage, but I'm going to load this little by little. I'm just going to add just enough water so I can get my blender going. Like this is nice and fine, but I will do it just one more time to get it as fine as I can get it. Alright, so after you are done blending and you have it finely blended, what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain, because we don't want any water, too much water or fluid left in this. Otherwise it gets too soft based on what you're making. This process that I'm doing, you'll see that I will make both banku and fufu all at the same time. That although you can get cabbage to be very fine, it doesn't mold and it doesn't bind. And so that's why we're going to need a binding agent either to make the fufu or the banku today. And what I'll do is I will transfer this straight into my pot. In this first pot, I will be making my banku in this one. I am being cheap right now because I can use a muslin bag for this, but I am rather using just a new clean scarf. I use this scarf for cooking only. But if you want to make it easier, just get a muslin bag, and I'll put a link down below. And this strainer I love. It is so easy to use. I can stretch it out to fit any size of sink at all, and it is so easy to clean, and I will put a link of that down below as well. All right, so this is my banku here. I'm going to let it heat through, and once it's heated through, then I'll continue to cook it for 5 minutes before I add my binding agent. Alright, so now that it's all heated through for the banku, if you're using a whole head of cabbage, what you will use for the banku is you will use a half teaspoon of the psyllium husk if you're using a whole head. And we will start to let this bind. And after you add it, you're going to do the stirring again for 5 minutes, another 5 minutes, so it binds well for you. The banku is coming together very nicely. It's almost 5 minutes with it, and what I will do is, if you have a little tablespoon to measure about 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I think you all know the benefits of apple cider vinegar, but when you add it to this cabbage banku, what it is mimicking is basically the fermentation that you usually have in our banku. And so this will be apple cider vinegar, an added benefit. There's so much I can say about apple cider vinegar. It is cleansing, it is detoxing, it has a lot of antioxidants, it is good for the body. And so this will give us that fermented taste in our banku. And it has been 5 minutes since I started, since I added the psyllium husk, and so our banku is done, and we will check the texture, and it is good. Honey, banku is ready. Baby, banku is ready. And you want to mold it while it is warm for both the banku and fufu. You want to mold it right away so it can form before it cools down. And what I'm doing now is I just put saran wrap in a plate and just add, wet it a little bit so that it doesn't stick. And you can mold it just like we usually mold it at home. But I like to just use the saran wrap to make it form. And this is my banku. Bruni, Ede. Hey, cabbage banku. Kama. Bruni, so when you home. When you home, that's an and so. Sa, hey,
and you're bad.
Why idea? That's a cabbage banku, pa.
It is a great alternative. It is great, tastes great. I wouldn't trade it for anything else. If you are diabetic or you're on a keto diet and you're looking for something to substitute for your high caloric or high carbohydrate foods, this is a great alternative for you.